Guys, how you doing? So today we're going to finish up lesson 9.5, which is also the last lesson in chapter 9. So what we're going to do after this is have a review next class, so you can kind of get used to how the assessment's going to be online for Big Ideas, which will be 2 classes from now. So last class we had talked about 4 different kinds of angles. First one was adjacent angles, which are 2 angles that were next to each other. Technical term was sharing a common vertex, blah, blah, blah. And then we talked about vertical angles, which were 2 angles that were opposite one another when intersecting lines occurred. And we said that vertical angles were congruent. Then we talked about corresponding angles, which are 2 angles that added up to 90 degrees, and supplementary angles that are 2 angles that added up to 180 degrees. So this one, the problems we're going to do today are a little bit more complicated. So it says find the angle measure, find the measure of angle EAB. So EAB is right here. Okay, so it's this obtuse angle right here. So we need to be able to calculate what this angle is. So we're going to use some of the things that we learned about last time. So if you notice EAB, well, we actually have technically 4 angles, but we can look at them as 3. EAB, EAC, and BAC. Those 3 angles together add up to 360 degrees because it goes in an entire circle. So that angle plus this angle plus that angle equals 360. Well, it tells us right here that that angle, EAC, is 90 degrees. So if the 3 of them add up to 360 and that one's 90, then that angle plus that angle have to equal 270. Oh, that's nice. Well, once we find that angle, we'll be able to figure it out. Well, how are we going to figure out this angle? Well, if we find what x is, we can do it. So now we need to use those those angles we learned from last time. So if you notice right here, we have a line. A line is a straight angle. A line adds up to 180 degrees. And if you notice, I have 2 measurements there. I have 8x plus 12 and 4x. So what do I know? That those 2 angles are supplementary. So 4x plus 8x plus 12. Now you notice I'm putting it in parentheses. That's only because that's the angle. That's the angle. Okay. It does matter if you're doing a subtraction in there. Obviously, we're not here, so obviously it doesn't matter that much, but it's good to be in the proper habit. So now what we want to do is combine our like terms. So 4x plus 8x is 12x. 12x plus 12 is 180. Subtract 12 from both sides, and we get 12x equals 168. Divide both sides by 12, and x equals 14. So now that we know what x is, we can find what this angle happens to be. Once we have that angle measure, we take that away from 270, and we can find that angle measure. So we know x is 14. So 8x times 14 plus 12. So 8 times 14 is 112. Yes, 112 plus 12 is 124. So that angle right there is 124 degrees. So we know that the whole angle, the 2 angles combined, is 270. 270 minus 124. So that would be 6. That would be 10. 10 minus 6 is, 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. So angle EAB is 146 degrees. Okay, let's go to the second one. This one looks a little bit complicated. I got 3 angle measures. Don't worry about it. Easiest thing to do is come here and look at what you have. Okay, so if you notice, I have 2 intersecting lines right here, LP and KN. These 2 lines are intersecting, which means this angle and right across from it, this angle are vertical angles. So if this angle is 6x, this angle is also 6x. If you notice, MJN and NJP, these 2 are a complementary angle. But if you notice, a complementary angle happens here, but this line is perpendicular to this line. So this angle right here is also 90 degrees. Okay, So now we got ourselves a little bit of a layout here. Now let's try to figure out what they're asking us to do. Okay, NJM, angle NJM, oh, right here, is 12x. So if I know what x is, I can figure out what this angle measure is. Well, do I know what x is? No. Can I figure it out? Of course I can. What do I know? That 12x plus 6x forms a 90-degree angle. They are complementary. So I know that if I take 12x and I add, I put an x in, and I add 6 x's to that, I'm going to get 90 degrees. So let's add those up. 12x plus 6x is 18x. 18x is equal to 90. Divide both sides by by 18. And x comes out to be 5. Okay. So if x is 5 and NJM is 12x, 12 times 5 is 60 degrees. Now let's come here, angle KJP. KJP is here. Now, when we look at angles, we don't refer to the reflexive angle, which is the angle that's larger than 180, unless it specifically says it. We tend to look at the angle that's less than 180 when it's just written like this. A little bit different when we have a parallelogram, or I'm sorry, a quadrilateral. We'll deal with that another time. Okay? So we're looking for this angle. What do I know? This angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle, they all equal 360. Well, I already know that this angle is 60. Can I find this angle? Of course I can. If x is 5, then this is 30, which means this is also 30. So 30 plus 90. Now I could write, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say and not actually writing what I'm saying. So 30 plus 90, this one plus this one. Now I could either write plus 60 plus 30, or I could just write plus 90. Doesn't really matter. Plus 90, and I know, plus this angle that I don't know. Now, the variable that we use for an unknown angle is a theta. Okay, that's what a theta looks like. It looks like a circle with a little squiggle going across, and that equals 360. So I combine them. 90 plus 90 is 180. 180 plus 30 is 210. So 210 plus theta. Be a lot easier if I could write it with my hand, but using a mouse. 360. Subtract 210 from both sides. And we get theta equals, 360 minus 210 is 150 degrees. So this is 150 degrees. Let me just draw a line so you don't get confused. Okay. Now we need KJM. So here's KJM. Okay, so this is 90. Sorry, this is 30. And then this line, this angle right here is 90. So 30 plus 90 is 120 degrees. Let's go to the next one. Oh, look at this thing. Let's get the lay of the land here. Okay, so this angle right here is 2x plus 2x minus 10. That's 90. That's 2x plus 40. So we need to find the value of x. Okay. Not terrible here. What do I know? That these four angles technically, but I'm going to just call this a third angle because it's a 90-degree angle. These three angles, or I'm going to go 4, they add up to 360 degrees. So 2x minus 10 plus, now I'm just going to look at these two together, which is 90 degrees. And then the last angle does not look like a plus sign. 2x plus 40 equals 360. Combine my like terms. So I have a 2x here and a 2x there, so that's 4x. Negative 10 plus 90 is 80. 80 plus 40 is 120. That equals 120. That equals 360. Subtract 120 from both sides. Okay, that does not look like a 0. So 4x equals 240. Divide both sides by 4. X equals 60. Now, it is not a degree. It is not an angle measure. It is a variable in here. If you go through just to find out, 2 times 60 is 120. 120 plus 40 is 160. This would be 120 minus 110. So 110 plus 90 is 200. 200 plus 160 is 360. So it does work out. Let's get to the last one. How does it actually work? So a city worker designs an intersection of 3 roads that will be constructed next year. The measure of the angle between any 2 roads must be at least 60 degrees in order for the vehicles to turn safely. Does the design shown meet requirements? Okay, so we need to say, do all of these angles equal or at least 60 degrees? Well, if you notice, there's a whole bunch of vertical angles here. So right here, this angle right here is 9x. Okay, because these 2 are vertical, formed by those 2 lines. This angle here is 60. This angle here is 6x plus 15. I'm not going to write it in for right now, but just so you know. So since all of these angles match all the angles down here, we don't have to do this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this equals 360. That's too much work. We just know that these 3 angles equal 180. So 60 plus 9x plus 6x plus 15, those equal 180. So now we just got to solve for x and then plug in to see what this angle measure is and what that angle measure happens to be. So combine like terms, 9x plus 6x is 15x. 60 plus 15 is 75. And that equals 180. Subtract 75 from both sides. Oops, 5 does not look like a 5. We get 15x equals 105. Divide both sides by 15. And x equals 7. Okay. So let's plug that in. So 9x, so 9 times 7 is 63. So this would be a 63-degree angle. That works. Come here. So let's just solve it over here. 6 times 7 plus 15. 6 times 7 is 42. Plus 15 is 57 degrees. So that angle's right there is 57, as well as that angle is 57. Oops, my angle went a little far. So does the design shown meet the requirements? And the answer, obviously, to the question is no, because 2 corners have a measure of 57 degrees, which does not meet the at least 60-degree requirement. Okay, so good luck. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll have GoGuardian on with the chat function open. Good luck. Have fun.